The 2019 Black Christmas trailer is here! Ho ho ho, bitch! You messed with the wrong sisters. Okay, who wrote that? That movie is a shit show! What you think you see, what you think you hear, that's what it's about! It's all a theater of the mind. No, it's garbage. It's garbage. Mood and atmosphere. Now that I really like. That's what I'm looking for. That's what I want to see. Hey folks, how you doing? Dave McRae here. Okay, in this video, I want to give you my first impression thoughts on the trailer for the remake of Black Christmas, which just dropped today. Thursday, September the 5th, 2019. The movie comes out this December. Okay, I have a lot I want to say. So buckle up. Let me start here. I'm going to do my best to come at this video from the perspective of an informed opinion, which is generally how I like to approach my videos, especially videos like this. And the reason for that is because I like to have weight to my arguments. I like to have things, that I can point to, that I can say, well, look at this and look at this and look at this, right? Things that, help to substantiate my arguments. There's two types of opinions. There's an opinion and there's an informed opinion. Just regular opinions tend to come from an emotional place. Informed opinions tend to come from places of facts and things that we can point to. So that's essentially what I'm going to try and do here. The trailer. This doesn't look like a Black Christmas movie. It doesn't feel like a Black Christmas movie. The Black Christmas identity, if you will, the Black Christmas brand, the brand of Black Christmas. And what's a brand? Well, a brand is essentially something that makes you unique in comparison to everybody else in your space. It makes you stand out. The brand and identity of Black Christmas ceases to exist. And we'll talk more about the brand and identity in a few moments. The enigma and the mystique and the mystery that surrounded and surrounds the antagonist in Black Christmas, the original now from 1974, not that fucking shitty remake from 2006, ceases to exist here. Halfway through the trailer, we know what's going on. We know, it's a cult environment. Oh, that professor that we saw at the beginning of the trailer that kind of seemed like a nice guy. Oh, he's in on it on some sort of level. Now, do we know everything that's going on? No, but we know that that is what it is and he's part of it. And so any sort of mystery or mystique that the filmmakers were trying to create has now been destroyed by the marketing. And this is nothing new. And by the way, this is not the fault of the filmmakers. Unless you're Spielberg or Scorsese, 99% of the time, the filmmakers have absolutely unequivocally no say in how their film is marketed. If you're a little independent guy like me who cuts his own trailers, yeah. But if I'm working for the big studios, no, ain't gonna happen. I mean, maybe I could have some sway depending on the kind of relationship I have with whoever's calling the shots or approves things. But at the end of the day, it ain't up to me. And the studios don't cut their own trailers. They outsource to trailer houses that specialize in marketing major motion pictures. And more often than not, they will outsource to a few of them. So they get a few different versions. And more often than not, believe it or not, they will also hold focus groups and test screenings for even trailers. They do that. But at the end of the day, the studios pick the trailer they want, they approve it, and they run with it. We got a lot in this trailer. A lot was revealed. So any sort of mystery that was trying to be created has now been destroyed. It kind of reminds me of the first trailer that was released to Halloween 2018, where at the end of that trailer, Vicky opens the closet door and there's Michael Myers. Yes, from a marketing standpoint, great way to end a trailer. The problem is as a viewer, when we go watch that movie and that character pops on screen, we know how she's going to die, we know when she's going to die, and we know where she's going to die. And as a matter of fact, we know she is going to die, right? So any sort of mystery or suspense that the filmmakers were trying to create with that character or that scene has now been destroyed. So when we talk about the Black Christmas 2019 remake trailer, part of the identity and brand of Black Christmas was that bigger picture enigma, bigger picture mystery. And okay, if you want to, reveal some things and not play it so close to the vest, okay. But any sort of mystery the viewer might feel while watching your movie has been just bigger picture mystery I'm talking about, like what's going on here, right? Like what's going on has been destroyed because you just told us in 2.5 minutes that it's a cult and that guy's in on it and probably in charge of it. So why am I going to watch the movie? What's the incentive, right? Why am I watching this movie if I already know what's going on? It's unfortunate. And the mystery and the mystique to the bigger picture is part of the Black Christmas identity and part of the Black Christmas brand. And because Black Christmas never spawned a series of films, there were no sequels. The 2006 film was a remake. It's all we know. That is its identity. The 1974 film, because the general consensus is that the 2006 film is garbage. It's just that movie. That is the brand. That is the identity. That is what makes Black Christmas Black Christmas. Now, there is no doubt that there are many people out there, including many who are watching me right now, who believe that the trailer, the way it went, the poster that was released today, is no doubt just another example of Hollywood's, fight against a patriarchal society, and that it's all about girl power and women and rising up and the Me Too movement and yada, yada, yada. These are my brief thoughts on this, okay? When I read the synopsis, or it's really a glorified log line, but a few months ago when Universal and Blumhouse essentially announced that they were doing a Black Christmas remake, they released a synopsis, if you will, alongside that announcement. And the synopsis read as follows. You probably remember it. Hawthorne College is quietening down for the holidays. One by one, sorority girls on campus are being killed by an unknown stalker. But the killer is about to discover that this generation's young women aren't willing to become hapless victims as they mount a fight to the finish. And it was that last sentence there that got a lot of people sort of going, is this going to be another one of those, because that doesn't sound like the identity and the brand of what Black Christmas is. Part of the Black Christmas brand and identity is that the movie doesn't end on a positive note. It's not about anybody rising up or any sort of redemption whatsoever, whether you're gay or straight or bi or trans or black, white, green, Asian, yellow. I couldn't give a frog's fat ass what you are. The story and part of the brand is not about anybody rising up over anybody. It's Black Christmas for a reason. It ends on that more somber, mysterious, creepy note, and you're like, oh my God. Now, that doesn't mean a remake has to end the exact same way, but thematically, that is part of the identity and the brand. So when people, read that, and I admit when I read that, it did sound a little preachy. It did sound a little kind of, what are they doing here? Now, the Me Too movement on paper, I think it's a good one. But like any movement or any, thing that is happening today, especially because of social media, things can be exploited. They can be utilized on the wrong platforms in the wrong ways. You can get the wrong people involved. And it can just become a fucking shit show. Sometimes these movements that in principle are good sort of lose their ways. And the last thing you want to do, using Hollywood major motion pictures to move an agenda or to make a statement is nothing new. It's been happening since the 50s, the 60s, the 70s. It's been happening for decades. It will continue to happen. But the last thing you want to do is piss anybody off or come off as a little preachy and a little virtue signaling. And admittedly, it did sort of sound like that because it goes so far against what the brand really is, right? It's the complete opposite of what the bigger picture of Black Christmas is really all about. So people tend to question, well, why would you make that conscious creative choice then? So it's hard to say. And when you release a poster like this, which is the poster they released today, it's hard to argue against it, isn't it? You look at that and you think, that's not Black Christmas. What is this? Right? Now, I'm not saying that is what they're doing here, but even I admit it's really hard not to read the synopsis, watch the trailer, look at this poster, and not think that that is what they're doing. I mean, even the saying at the top, "Slay girls," right? I mean, the whole poster, the whole thing looks like a spoof. The entire brand identity from Black Christmas has been removed. I mean, it's like Nike updating their brand, right? So they get rid of the swoosh, they get rid of the saying, "Just do it," and now their logo is a bucket of chicken, and their saying is, "We love hot chicken." Yeah, but it's Nike for today. Yeah, but that's not Nike. No, but it's for today. Yeah, but it's not Nike. Nike has a very specific, unique brand and saying that is all their own. If you remove that, they cease being Nike. So why don't you just take the bucket of chicken, take the saying, "We love hot chicken," or whatever the hell I said, and call it something else? Because psychologically, it might work better for the viewer. Because maybe the movie, will actually end up being not bad, right? I don't know. I'm not one of those people that is spiteful just for the sake of being spiteful. If a movie is good, I'll say it's good. If it's dog shit, I'll say it's dog shit. I actually like the 2016 Ghostbusters movie. I'm an unabashed Melissa McCarthy fan. I don't care what people think about that. But I also don't work at two ends of the extremes. I don't believe that something is either a 10 out of 10 or it's shit. And if it's 9 out of 10, that means it's shit. No, I understand that the world of entertainment movies, there's a lot of gray area. So maybe I'll end up watching the movie at home. I'm not going to pay to go see it, but maybe I'll watch it at home and be like, actually, you know what? That wasn't bad. That was all right. But it might be psychologically difficult for me to get to that place because you're calling it Black Christmas, So you could have a Halloween 3 Season of the Witch thing happening here where the movie is actually not that bad, but because you called it Halloween 3, people are expecting something else. The identity and the brand of what Halloween was has been removed. So maybe you should just call it Dark Winter or Dark Holiday or whatever the case is. And yeah, people will see similarities and parallels between Black Christmas, sure. The sorority house, Christmas time, college campuses. I get all that. But at the end of the day, there's so much that's not Black Christmas that it's almost doing a disservice to the film calling it Black Christmas. Let it stand on its own as something else, because I think there might be enough there where it could. I'm not saying you're going to enjoy the movie. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that there's a lot there that seems like it could be its own thing. The cult, girls rising up, the professor in on it. Call it something else, because that ain't Black Christmas. Yeah, but it's Black Christmas for today. Yeah, but it's not. It's not Black Christmas, because it has a very if Black Christmas had spawned a bunch of sequels, if Black Christmas had spawned a series, maybe you could point to some of the series and say, but see how the series evolved and changed, and so we can make this movie and it still kind of fits. Fair. But Black Christmas has one movie. 2006 fucking thing. It has one movie. That is the identity and the brand. And it's always been like that. And if you change it so drastically, it ain't Black Christmas. Now, one last thing I want to say before I wrap up this video is this. To be fair, there is a fundamental ingredient to the Black Christmas identity and brand that would be very difficult, not impossible, but difficult to replicate today for today's viewing audience and get those viewers to buy into it, to get those viewers to believe what they're seeing on the screen. So what am I talking about? I'm talking about the urban legend, the babysitter and the man upstairs, and the utilization of phone calls. Now, Black Christmas didn't utilize that urban legend verbatim. There was no babysitter or children, but the movie When a Stranger Calls did, and there's a couple other films that have utilized it as well. But today, nobody's talking on the phone. Very few people have landlines anymore. And if you see an unknown caller on your cell phone, do you pick it up? 9 times out of 10, you don't, right? So, I mean, 45 years ago, there was no caller ID. There was no call waiting or call *69 or whatever. I mean, if the phone rang, you picked it up, regardless of whether you knew who was on the line or not. I mean, 45 years ago, it was, oh, the phone's ring. Hello. Oh, hi. You know, today, nobody's talking on the phone. I mean, even me, I think the only people I talk to on the phone are my agents, right? You know, everybody's WhatsApping and texting and emailing and Facebooking and tweeting and Instagramming and DMing on all multitude of, I mean, nobody's talking on the phone anymore. Obviously, some people do, but you know what I'm saying, right? Certainly not the way it used to be. So it's more difficult in today's climate to prank call and to crank call without, you know, those calls being traced or, you know, without the cops being at your door and knowing what's going on. And it's just a different climate. But it's not impossible, which brings me to my fan film, It's Me, Billy, which I am currently in development on. It's a Black Christmas fan film. And my buddy and I who are doing it, we were faced with the same conundrum. We didn't want to, it's an unofficial sort of sequel that takes place 45 years later. We wanted to keep the essence of the Black Christmas identity and brand there while still having it take place in 2019 or 20 or whenever we get to it. But that was fun to figure out. It's not impossible to figure out, but if you don't want to figure it out and you want to give way to all that because you just don't feel that there's anything you could do that today's viewers will buy into, then just don't make it Black Christmas. That brings it, it brings it back to my other point. Call it something else. Make it original. Make it a frightening horror movie involving cults and girls that rise up at a sorority house on, Christmas Eve or shit. Like you could have it stand on its own. You could have it stand on its own. But I get it. It's but it ain't Black Christmas. It ain't Black Christmas. Because you've removed all of the ingredients that make Black Christmas Black Christmas. Anyways, folks, my name's Dave McRae. Comment below and let me know your thoughts. If you want to follow me on Facebook, you can at facebook.com/manythingsdavemcrae. That's where I tend to post in the meantime and in between time, and I'm not posting here. All my links are in the description. Check them out until your heart's content. So those are my first impression thoughts. Maybe I'll end up seeing the movie and be like, you know what, that's not bad. But as of right now, that's where I'm at. Comment below and let me know where you're at. Cheers.